Hi, I'm Valerie Bodell. Welcome to the Tattoo Trio. This is a series of 3 related courses, but they are not prerequisites of each other. So you can take any one, any 2, or all 3 if you'd like. The courses are Tattoos, Self-Expression or Public Dialogue, and Tattoos and Society. And yes, there's quite a bit of overlap, but I think they're separate enough that if you take each course, you won't get bored. I've tried to separate the material and put good stuff in each class. These are each 5-week, 1-credit courses, and there are no books to buy. Everything you need is in D2L. And most of the information I'm telling you right now is also in D2L, but I wanted to give you a couple of things in particular. One thing is, if you're looking for information about the class, there's a course information section in the contents. There you'll find the syllabi, the course facts, along with all the stuff about plagiarism and stuff like that, which you hear in every class, I know, but we're supposed to mention it. And a bibliography in case you want to see where I got a lot of the stuff I'm using and how I've cited things. You don't need to cite the same way I do. Just be consistent when you do cite. The object is that if I wanted to find the quotation or the information that you used, I should be able to from the way you've cited. Okay? All right. To contact me, the best way is by email. I usually respond to emails within 24 hours, but I check my emails less often on the weekends. Please do not wait until Sunday night to read your assignment and realize that you don't know what you're supposed to do. Check your assignments early in the week. Email me with any questions while I have time to help you. And I'm putting on my glasses. I have to read my cheat sheet. All right. If you'd like to call me, my phone number here is 423-439-7182. You can leave a message at that number. And if you'd like to meet in person, that'd be fine. Send me an email, give me a call. We'll arrange a time to meet. All right. To pass this class, this is important. You must turn in 1 assignment from each week's choices. Non-negotiable. I'm going to say this again. To pass this class, you must turn in at least 1 assignment from each week's choices. It's due by the due date for that week. You may do as many assignments as you want. You can choose which assignments you do. You can choose how many to do. You choose how many points you get, and you choose what your final grade is. Your grade is based on 100 points, period. If you do 4 10-point assignments and you get all 10 points for each assignment, it may help you to not think of those as A's, but to think of that as 40 points. If you want to get a B, you may need 43 more points. If you want to get an A, you may need 50 or 55 more points. Whatever grade you would like to receive. You add up your points anytime you want. And contact me if you think I've screwed something up. I wouldn't be shocked. Sometimes things are confusing no matter who you are. All right. So one more thing about grades. If you sign up for more than one of these classes, you may not use the same final paper for each class. It's fine if you use the information within a class as a basis or part of your final paper and you've expanded on it. No problem. But if you use that same final paper in a different class with a different section number, that's plagiarism. You are plagiarizing yourself, believe it or not. That's possible. That's really not covered in the plagiarism information clearly, but it's true. Okay. If you're in a class that has discussions and you decide to participate in a discussion, for discussions that require both posts and replies, you will need to participate in the conversation to get full credit. It's perfectly possible to get partial credit for posting only, and some discussions don't actually require a reply. But if you are posting, I'll be looking for a paragraph or 2 that explains your point of view and supports it with examples from the reading or with whatever I've requested in the assignment. If you are replying, I'm going to look for more than just, I agree, or, well, that was interesting. I want you to take the conversation a step further. Maybe bring up something new. You don't have to only comment on what your classmates have said unless you have something to say about it. All right. Also, I'm not worried about grammar or spelling so much in the posts and replies for discussions. I want to see that you've engaged with the material, that you've understood what you're reading, that you're relating it to the larger world, which basically could mean just your world. That's fine. If you are a nursing student and you relate whatever we've studied in class to your profession or your profession that you're hoping to get into, that's fine. All right. There is an open discussion board in each class. Use that for whatever you want. It does not have to be class related. I will read it. If you ask me a question on the open discussion board, I will certainly answer it. But it doesn't, some classes have been using those and some have totally ignored it. That's fine. Doesn't bother me a bit. All right. Final assignments. I've mentioned that earlier, but let me tell you a little more about it now. The final assignment is a formal paper, 5 to 7 pages, 1,000 to 1,500 words, any topic related to tattoos. It's formal, so it needs to have an introduction with a thesis statement, a body with 1 or more paragraphs. I want your thoughts to be in a logical progression, full sentences, complete paragraphs, no bullet points. It should also have a conclusion with works cited. So you can turn in a draft, and I encourage you to do so. Another thing is I'm using Turnitin. It is a plagiarism detection application, and I've actually turned that on for every written assignment so you can see how it works. You can try it out. You can use it for other class papers if you want. Just download them into the Dropbox. There's no limit to how much you can put in there in my class. Just put me a little note if I'm supposed to use this as this class's paper, or I'm going to all of a sudden think you're confused. Write a note on there letting me know what you're doing. Doesn't bother me. Turn in the paper. Wait, could be 15 minutes or more for the report to appear. But you will see a tiny rectangle, and it's got a color and a number. Click on the rectangle, and it will show you the Turnitin Report. It highlights those parts of your paper that appear in other people's work. So some of it is going to be obviously nothing to worry about. It's words or phrases that are so common or so particular to this particular topic that everyone is going to use them. You really don't have to worry about those. Do look at the other ones, the longer things that are marked. Make sure you've cited them correctly. One other point is that if your paper comes up as 50% or close to that, let's say 40 or more, as being someone else's work, as being found in someone else's work, even if you've cited properly, that would be incorrect. You're not going to get the plagiarism problems that you would get if you didn't cite correctly. But that paper is not your work if that much of it is someone else's ideas. The way to get around that is if you find yourself using a lot of other people's ideas or one particular scholar's work, analyze it. Put in the quote you want to, but then after that, how does that quote particularly relate to what you're trying to say, to your thesis statement? If your thesis statement turns out to be exactly the same as his, you might need to tweak it a little. Make it your own. Make it relate to something that you know about. Again, we're back to make it relate to your life, the larger world that you're interested in. And that'll probably fix your problem. If you have time to turn in a draft and you find that you can't solve some of these problems, contact me. Hopefully I'll see it in the draft, but if it goes over my head, feel free to let me know. It wouldn't shock me again. All right. These 3 courses focus more on contemporary tattoos. I do have short sections, a little bit about the history, but I'm not really discussing it. Partly because of the limitation of the 5-week course, but partly because just I'm focusing these courses more on contemporary. Tattoos are having a renaissance. I was sort of attracted to this topic because I wanted to know why. I'm seeing more of them. I'm talking to more people who have tattoos. I've gotten more interested in the process. But don't let that limit you on your papers. It's beyond the limits of the class, but you can write your paper about anything, or any of your papers. Feel free to expand. All right. So part of what attracted me was that I think there's a renaissance of tattoos. Now, why would that be? And I think obviously they're very autobiographical. Some people get tattoos that are very private. You're only going to share that with your significant other and yourself. Other people get them on their face or neck. Those are very public communications. How does the public view you? How do people who engage with you, may I see your art? That's really beautiful. Why did you get that? What did it mean to you? Or I might not engage with someone and I might just think, I'm in a hurry, walk into class and I see someone and think, boy, that's really goth. That's a brave person. Or, so as a viewer, you might get a message. If you engage with the tattooee, the person who has the tattoo, you may get the rest of the story and learn a lot more about that person. And as the tattooee, you're going to have to be comfortable with the fact that people may not get the meaning that you intended. So it gets to be very complex, and I found it very interesting. So let me know how you feel about it. I'm looking forward to learning more about tattoos and looking forward to working with you in this class. Thank you.